how to make money.
What's up, everybody? Episode 3, Couple of Bettors podcast. We're back at it.
Oh,
We're back
God.
at you.
I'm kind of back at it. We had a bad weekend this weekend.
Licking our wounds. You ever hear that expression?
Week 1 sucks balls in football.
NFL Week 1, look, it's a tough one. NFL Week 1's a tough one, and not a lot of information to go on. And we didn't do that good.
Well, we did very well watching the Bills play the Rams for the first football game of the season because the Bills are fantastic. Moving on.
We had a great weekend, actually. I mean, Bernie had a probably better weekend than we did because he doesn't bet sports a lot. He just, he's out there. He's having a good time. Maybe a couple of tequilas like last weekend. This weekend at Bernie's, at the slot machine, He's at the Cosmo.
He won money on Buffalo because that's the only place you win money on is in Buffalo, at Buffalo, on the Buffalo machine, however you want to call it.
It's a weird thing where people from Buffalo like the idea of an animal named Buffalo, but it has nothing to do with Buffalo.
They yell Buffalo, and you're just drawn to it because you're from Buffalo.
Look, he did good. Look at when the coins are flipping up. He's hitting a jackpot. He's having a blast.
Shout out to Cosmopolitan for being pet friendly and allowing the dog to sit by the slot machine. Technically, probably not allowed to, but we did it anyway. So
it's definitely not allowed to. Yeah, but
he's allowed to stay there though if he wants to sleep overnight. He's done it many a time. They're okay with it. They give him a little package of stuff. He gets treats, toys. He's very happy there.
Yeah,
but he knows a lot of the bartenders. So,
but he's 9.5. So in dog years, he's definitely over 21.
Definitely
legal to gamble. No laws being broken here, but look, he parties. Mm-hmm. This week's You Got Vegas. We debuted this segment last week, and it's all about people who maybe party a little too hard in Vegas, can't handle it. So this one's a great one. This is a couple weeks ago. No deed goes unpunished. Vegas tourist says $35,000 Rolex was stolen by a prostitute. Cops say the serial watch thief. Victim claims he took pity on a tired hooker and let her rest in his hotel room. Obviously,
wait, hold on, folks. He let her take a nap in his room. He didn't have anything to do with her, and she stole a Rolex from him. Just saying. That's what his story is. Just saying.
This guy, he's going out of his way to be nice to somebody who's down on her luck. Mm-hmm. She's a little tired. She maybe
needed a nappy nap. She has no home to go to, apparently.
It's Las Vegas. She had maybe a busy night where she was going one after another, and he could tell she's a little tired. He said, "You know what? Why don't you come rest in my room?" They both took a little snoozer, and his Rolex was gone. So it's a shame. You hate to see it. But he's a victim, I think.
Right. He got Vegas, though.
Yeah, he definitely got Vegas. Oh, shout out to the mayor of Las Vegas for letting it all slide. Letting it all slide. All right, this week's let's face it. You.
Nope.
Let's face it. So, top left, what about this lady?
The queen died. Again, if you live under a rock, you don't know that. I guess we say R.I.P. I don't know. She seems like she was kind of a bitch, but people are sad. The queen's dead. She was old. So sorry. Rest in peace.
What was she, 100?
I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Next.
Well, all I know is that I forget what day it was. It was either Thursday or Friday.
Oh, yeah. It was on Thursday. It took away from the Bills-Rams game. Shout out to Johnny Newberger for pointing that out. That bitch took up a lot of our time. Instead of focusing on the Bills playing the Rams, we had to talk about this lady dying when she was old.
Come on.
It didn't matter, though. In the end, the Bills crushed the Rams, and it became the new top story. So it was okay. It ended up being okay.
Dak. We talked about him week 1, week 2, right? Can't stay healthy. Can't stay. And look, it's tough because you watch the play where he injures his hand and he's throwing. He literally is throwing into somebody and hits his hand. I get it. The hand's messed up, but it's got to be.
It's kind of like Sam Darnold when he was playing for the Jets and he couldn't ever be healthy for more than a week. Yeah. That's Dak Prescott.
But he's talented though, Sam.
Well, no, but the healthiness, we're going on the same level.
Yeah, it's tough, man, to see. as a Cowboys fan, it almost seems like you're cursed a little bit. People are talking about go out and get Jimmy G. I think it's a little bit too soon, but he's definitely out for, I don't even know, weeks and weeks and weeks.
Sorry, Cowboys.
Steph. So in the NBA news a little bit off-season NBA news, the Warriors, they had Steph, KD, they won the championship back in the day, and people were wondering whether or not Durant had a chance to go back to the Warriors. And Steph came out and said that he was actually all supportive of Durant being traded from the Nets to the Warriors. He said, "Oh, let's get the band back together," type of thing. They didn't work it out. I think it would have took too much to get him over there. But it was really interesting to hear that because you thought there was a little bit of maybe bad blood between the two of them. So interesting enough that that happened. That's your boy, Kirk Cousins.
Dude, when he did his press conference, mailed it in with the Coles button-down shirt. I like it, Kirk. I like where your head's at. Let's go. Just put on what you want, what feels comfortable. Who the hell cares? We're not trying to impress anybody. Very impressive.
It felt very Minnesota-like.
Yes.
And look at it. He's got the button down. Doesn't look good, but he likes it. Maybe his wife likes it. Maybe it's like a role-playing thing where he's like, I'm gonna play.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
I don't know. All right.
Next. Motherfucker.
Marcus Freeman. No, I was going to go him first. Yeah, I was gonna go Marcus Freeman. Notre Dame 0-2. They lost to Marshall. I don't know if everybody knows how this works, where like if it's a good team playing a shit team, if it's a non-conference game, so it's not somebody you have to play, they basically pay a shitty team to beat them up, to beat up on them. So they say like Notre Dame's going to say, "Hey Marshall, we're going to play you. You come to our place. We're going to beat the crap out of you, and we'll pay you $2 million."
College football is so weird.
It's so weird, but they want to get their rankings up. They want to show all the stats for the guys and all that stuff. So
They also have 30-years playing on half their teams too, so there's that. College is weird.
that's a hot take. But
Stick into it.
But in all fairness, Marshall is getting paid, I don't know, $1.25 million, $1.5 million to go to play Notre Dame to get their ass kicked, and they show up and they beat Notre Dame's ass in a big upset. And tough for this guy. He's the head coach. No Notre Dame coach has ever started 0-3. The only other one that started 0-2, which Marcus Freeman did, was Lou Holtz. So he's in good company there. But get your act together, turn it around, because you got some stuff to prove. That was a bad one. They were ranked number 8, and they got beat by an unranked Marshall. Bad.
Right.
And that motherfucker.
Yes. The motherfucker.
That motherfucker.
Tom Brady quoted as, "That motherfucker? You're taking that motherfucker?"
Yeah, you sticking with that motherfucker. So that's the story everybody heard for the last, 3 years when Brady was trying to figure out whether he was going to go to Tampa Bay or not. He was looking at some other teams. Now, some people thought he was, they've been saying now, with Gronk was saying, and also Dana White was saying that they were brokering a deal for Tom Brady to go to Vegas. And when Tom Brady was on a podcast, I think with LeBron and them, he was saying he was ready to go to another team. He was thinking about it, and they backed out. And he said, "You're staying with that motherfucker?" I thought it was San Francisco right away because I thought it was Jimmy G. I think a lot of people did, because of Tom Brady was a big Montana fan. He grew up in San Francisco. He loved it. We thought he wanted to go back there. But then Vegas was maybe, whatever. But on Pardon My Take podcast.
Side note, Belichick believes that the Vegas Raiders Stadium, which we've been in, is the most incredible stadium he's ever been to, and he's been everywhere. So, good job.
Wait,
OBJ.
is that so? There, I remember it was the Vegas Stadium, but then also the SoFi Stadium. One of them was, I think it was the SoFi Stadium. They said it was the locker rooms were so confusing.
Oh no, SoFi they screw the away team. Belichick was specifically talking about Allegiant Stadium, saying this is a fantastic stadium. It's basically everything he could ever want in a stadium. He had a lot to say. Very happy with it, but we digress. Continue and finish.
So anyway, on Pardon My Take, Fitzpatrick was saying that he believed that he was that motherfucker, meaning it was the Dolphins when there was the tank for 2 a year and this and that, or it was around that time, and Brady wanted to go there because, I think it was because his wife wants to be in South Florida because it's nice and good weather and whatever else. Because that's why
They have
ended
a
up
house in Miami. That's
they ended up moving down to Tampa eventually, but it was before that. And so Fitzpatrick, which he's the best. I mean, he was on
story long.
the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins. I mean, every fucking team in the
Played
league.
12 teams.
Yeah, 12
And
teams.
by the way, he loved the city of Buffalo over everybody else. I'm just going to say he put it out there. He's like, really, you're going to ask me this question? They're like, yes. And he goes, Buffalo, by far. Loved playing for Buffalo the most. So shout out to Bills Mafia. We fucking are crushing it, man.
Last year when he was in the playoffs, and they find him in the stadium with his shirt off.
The 19 minus 10 degree game against the Patriots, he was there with his shirt off, just like all the other fans. So good for you, Fitzy. You're welcome anytime.
When I saw that picture, I was like, he retired because he had the dad bod going for sure.
Well, listen, we'll accept that dad bod. That wasn't that bad. Moving on. Next.
So where do we watch the games this weekend? So obviously we watch a lot of games, right? We gushed about the Circa property on Instagram and YouTube and stuff about how it was the best.
Make sure you're following our Instagram.
Yeah, follow it up. Thursday night, Circa for the Bills game. That was so fun. What a great setup. I mean, the best sports book that's around there. And the table setup we had, it was like all you can drink and all you can eat, whatever you wanted was included in the package, which was pretty awesome. And then Sunday we went back to another property that's owned by the same people, the D. If anybody hasn't been there, they have a big long bar and there's like a bunch of TVs all in a row. Got to check out all the different games that were going on at once, so that was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. How do we do?
Not good. Not well. Not well.
Wow. Well, this is where you got to bet us for this next week coming up because you can't get a lot worse than this.
Well, first of all, week one, it was hard for us to pick out bets anyway for week one. Yeah. If you're not watching preseason games, which, we love watching football, but we were not paying attention to preseason games. They don't play any of your starting players. Yeah. You're just watching, people fight for their jobs, which is great for them, but you're not watching it. You don't know what these teams are going to look like. So you're kind of pulling out of the air what you think is going to happen, and that's why there were a lot of losses.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't learn any better from the Chiefs game today, but we'll get into that a little later.
So back in the day, they used to play 4 preseason games, and then you would play your starters. It was almost like the first game you play them for a quarter, the second for a quarter, the third game you play them for a half, and then you rest your guys for the last game. So the third game was oh man, you got to see your guys play for a whole half. Nowadays with the contracts, they shortened the preseason to 3 games. A lot of coaches are afraid to play their starters, and look what happened on can you imagine playing Josh Allen? I mean, Josh Allen played for a couple series in the preseason. That was it. Now he came out, he was hot, but
he threw a crazy touchdown, and he was like, "Yep, this was awesome," and he got off the field because that's all they wanted.
But Zach Wilson goes down. He's got a knee tear. Could you imagine if that was Josh Allen? Everyone would be shitting on the coach. Right. Oh, why'd you play him?
Yeah, I think people understand why they only do a few.
Anyway, it's hard to bet the first game because you're not really seeing it. You're not understanding matchups and understanding all this stuff. So anyway, going into it, these things we have a bunch more losses than wins, right? But it's all about units. So the Bills game, we were on it good.
I don't bet the Bills though. Just to clarify, because you heard me say that it's only his money on the Bills, but he's really good at betting the Bills. I do not bet them, but that was a win for him.
But I do tell you that this Broncos Seahawks game, I was on the Broncos hard.
So was I.
Yeah, and we had a shot there. I mean, what a weird thing with the end of the game. They go for the 64-yard field goal. They played like pussies.
It was the worst game I think I've ever watched with a star quarterback in my life. That was the dumbest thing. I mean, the Cowboys game sucked balls too, but that was, and then Dak gets hurt, so maybe you could throw that as an excuse. The Broncos, you're going back to your home base and you're tanking and you can't call the right plays, coach. At the end, that was awful. So I feel like that's not our fault. That was just who would have thought? So that kind of helps us with our bets for this week too, this weekend.
Yeah, all this is informative. So this is a good learning experience. You're figuring out what's going on.
I do want to talk about for a second. We cut you off. The Patriots versus Dolphins. I got some good advice. Shout out to Keith in Buffalo. Yeah, I should never bet a division game, Patriots versus Dolphins. I hate both teams. Honestly, I don't want to see either of them ever win. But I took the Patriots because I kind of thought that was free money, and I was totally wrong. Not even close. So that was a huge loss. I mean, it was only a plus 3.5. You thought the Patriots would cover. I do like Belichick's reaction. That was kind of worth the money I lost. Him just being so angry at the end of the game. Yeah, welcome to struggling, Belichick. It's your time now.
It's rough. Yeah, they had I think it was Matt Patricia was calling the plays, and it's like this is not even an offensive guy. But and we talked about that the last podcast. But shout out to Johnny Flick down in Miami. He was talking a lot of shit, saying Tua was good. I don't think he's that good,
No.
but still he's accurate enough to hit Waddle, and the guy Mike McDaniel, the little weenie coach that we talked about. He did a good enough job to get past them.
It was good enough. Let's see how they fare out the next couple weeks. I right away my notes watching the games. To his first throw, he didn't make it where he wanted to go, which is exactly what we expected. He couldn't really get to Hill unless Hill was close to him. So I just think the Patriots were just a terrible team that game, and we'll see how it goes. But that was a crazy loss.
How about the Eagles-Lions game was close. A lot of points
close.
there. It was 38-35. It was a -4. It was a spread. We were on Eagles.
I said take the Lions.
And here, talk about a revenge thing. Christine said the Lions. She said take the Ravens, right? I said, I don't know if you should go for the Patriots, go for the Dolphins. So we were against each other a little bit. We laid off. We let each other bet, and we lost. So maybe a little bit of lesson learned there.
Well, no, I was not allowed to bet the Ravens against the Jets. That's just wrong. That's evil. That's grounds for relationship ending, stuff. So I didn't bet that. That would have been such easy money, but whatever. And the Lions, I gave him his Eagles. So there's that. But I'm the only one that took the Patriots.
So Christine bet this one live, the Giants-Titans
yes.
game. She got the over. She hit it at 40.5.
Yes, let's go live bets, which we struggled with. Circa, your betting app needs to be quickly fixed. It took us forever to get any kind of bets in. And then, who would have thought that here in Vegas, we can't get alcohol delivered. We've been trying to do that. We have a little tiny car. We're looking for people to deliver us like White Claws and stuff. Can't get that over here. I don't know what the hell is going on. And second of all, we're downloading all these apps, signing up for these apps, and today we wanted to put in live bets for the Chiefs-Chargers game. Couldn't get any of them to go through. What is going on? Apparently it's easier to bet on games in New York than it is here in Vegas. So we're kind of losing our minds with that. We don't want these little paper tickets because my boy Josh here lost one of them this weekend. Thank God it was a loser anyway, but
It was the Jets-Ravens, one of the Jets-Ravens bet because I added to it.
Yeah.
So I lost that ticket. And I
that
was
little
like,
paper went flying into the wind, and thank God it was a loser because somebody else would have just made money on it. So we're trying to do this bet stuff, the app stuff, and nothing's going through. So Vegas is like killing us right
struggling. Yeah, I was trying to add to this the live. She got it at 40.5. It was down to 36.5, and I was trying to live bet it. It says acquiring location, and it's spinning. And then we go and today acquiring location, trying to bet Herbert over 299.5 yards. He ends up with 334. She's trying to bet. Yeah. There's winners that we're losing on, like because we're not losing, but we're like,
Oh yeah, I wanted the third quarter. Who's going to score first? The Chargers. I wanted that. Sure enough, they scored within like the first 30 seconds, but that didn't go through. So Vegas, get your shit together.
Get it together.
I don't know what's going on here. Get your shit together.
Come on, you can get like hookers and blow in about 1 minute, but you can't get a bottle of Tito's delivered to you and also bet live on the fucking game.
Ridiculous.
All right,
That's
guys.
enough about that. We're sorry for those of you that don't live in Vegas. Just enjoy your easy accessibility to alcohol and betting apps.
Facts.
Yep.
All right. So week 2 takeaways.
This is very important. We already talked about it, but just to reiterate, I told you so. I told you so.
I said I was risking money, but more risking the I told you so, and she nailed it. She maybe I should play the clip, but she goes, if I hit both of those games, I'm definitely going to give you the I told you so, and she nailed it.
I nailed it. But I have no money to show for it because I wasn't allowed to bet them. So there's that.
So like, should we veto each other? Like if I'm betting, if I think one way, you think the other way, should we go? Like, I feel like there's a little bit of truth to this where.
Well, I'm never going to go against the Jets because that would be rude. some of our friends out there who don't know loyalty to friends' teams that they are diehard for. Just saying, but not gonna. I'm not gonna bet against the Jets, but that would have been easy free money.
We talked about preseason is tough because we're not seeing a lot of the starters play. How division games are tough. So shout out to Keith. You're right.
Yes.
Look, Cowboys. Look, I wouldn't say that the Bucs look good as much as that the Cowboys look bad.
Yeah, the Bucs. I mean, also if you saw their injury report today, Bucs lost. Now I don't know if they're playing Sunday, but as of right now, they lost half their team in injury. So that was crap. You can't really take a lot of this though. Seahawks, and I'm going to tell you, this is my lock of the week. Seahawks. I hate Geno Smith. He probably deserved to get punched in the face in the Jets locker room. This is the first man in history that got beat by, physically punched by one of his own teammates. Can't be a class act guy. However, he looked pretty good against the Broncos. I give him this weekend to look good also. Then after that, I don't know if I'm going to give him any more time because we all know Geno. He's not going to keep this up. But my money's on him. Also, they get 9.5 points. So I feel like they'll cover because I think he's got to prove something. He's got to keep it going. He's got to keep being a good quarterback. Week 3, though, probably going to stay off that man because I have a feeling he's just going to tank after that. But that's my luck of the week. I'll, quickly readdress that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Oh, and the weather in Chicago. Coming from Buffalo, I love that shit. The slide in at the end, Chicago Bears, that was phenomenal. Love it. Way to celebrate. One thing we did learn this weekend is we should probably look into the weather while we're taking these bets because, you think it's early fall. Weather's not going to play a part in this. Again, it all came back to growing up in Buffalo. I remember going to a trick-or-treat on Halloween in a blizzard and being like one of 5 kids that actually still went out to get her free candy. It is a thing. We should probably be looking into it. So that's something else we learned this week.
Definitely. Are the Vikings legit? They looked legit.
Yeah.
They did. So that's going to be something to look at going forward. People remember I said last week, somebody said that, Kirk Cousins was going to be MVP and Super Bowl whatever. I was like, it's not both going to happen.
Let's not go that far. But
it looked pretty good. It looked solid. All right. God.
So this is my moment to rant about how awesome the Bills are. Now, listen, I wish we were doing this podcast years ago when they weren't that fantastic because I would also be ranting about how awesome they are. Just to clarify, as always, in Vegas and at the Rams, Bills Mafia was everywhere. We're at Circa watching the game. We are next door to Los Angeles. Not a single Rams fan. Buffalo Bills fans all over the place. You look at the Rams at SoFi Stadium, they said they made it loud. They showed you Bills Mafia is in the house. You guys are crushing it. Keep it up. We're everywhere. So much so that even Odell Beckham tweeted, sheesh, Bills Mafia, it's just everywhere. We were everywhere in that stadium. I know you guys know that Von Miller is trying to get Odell, who's kind of like a free agent right now, to come onto the Bills. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Odell's very talented, but the man cries. I don't want to cry baby on our team. We're strong. We don't need somebody.
He grew up.
Well, I'm going to go with right now. He can keep it. We're good. I did want to say welcome to the Bills, Mr. Miller. I mean, I was your number one fan before you started. I had my shirt on, ready to go. It's Miller time. But you showed up. It was fantastic. Good job. Poyer interception. Fantastic. Now, we did have a couple interceptions. Mr. Cook, I don't know what you were doing, but let's work on those problems because you kind of had the 2 little issues there.
Or the fumbles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. I'm not gonna talk. No, this is good things, but fix those. And the fact that we had those issues and still 31-10 final score, fantastic. Let's keep it up. We are Super Bowl material. Let's go. Bills Mafia. Keep wearing your shit because that's how I know you're in town. Love it. And that's my rant for the Buffalo Bills.
My problem that I have with the Bills is that everybody now recognizes how good they are, and I can't make as much money on them because the spreads are going nuts. I'm
That's
like,
true.
oh, come on, man.
He used to make a lot of money on the Bills.
Making low key money, you know?
Low key money. I love it. All
All
right,
right,
I'm
so
done with my rant.
we're gonna go through a bunch of the games that we're gonna pick for the weekend, and then also we're gonna start betting tomorrow. So we're recording this after the
Chiefs game.
the Chiefs game, which is a great game.
It was a good game.
The Chiefs Chargers game. We'll talk about it in a second, but we're gonna go through we're gonna pick a couple college games this
Just
week.
2 guys. We're not staying too long.
Not too long, and we won't spend too much time on it. We'll roll through all of them, tell you what we're betting on all of them, and then we'll have fun with it. Hopefully, these ones are going to be a lot more winners than the last one. But I tell you what, again, last weekend with the blackjack and a roulette winning and some slots winning and stuff like that, I would still take that weekend every single weekend. But I want to give you guys good information. Want to make sure that
I
want to
win on
money.
football.
Yeah,
I want to win on football.
that's what on football. All right.
Okay,
So, college games. This is this is going to be a Friday game. Okay, we got number 12th ranked BYU against Oregon, who's number 25th ranked. We're going to be on BYU plus 3.5 points here. Okay, so Oregon at home has not lost a game since 2018. So you're going, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you betting BYU? Oregon looked like shit last week. They're 1-1. BYU's 2-0. We think that BYU, they're running the ball 200 yards a game on average. Okay, I just think that with the plus 3.5 points, that this is actually going to be the move, and this is going to be a thing where people are going to realize that Oregon just doesn't have the squad that they've had over the last few years, and that BYU actually does. BYU has a bunch of fifth-year seniors. They're like a built-up squad that actually looks pretty good. So I'm taking BYU with the points on the road. I think that's the move.
These are the lamest logos ever, by the way. Jesus, we're kind of
Why?
A Y and an O. Boo.
Brigham Young, Mormon country, butt stuff. All right, next one. We got we got the FSU Louisville game. Okay.
Hey, it's the Cardinals. They're playing against the Redskins. Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly. I know the logos look pretty similar, but the Louisville quarterback Malik Cunningham, he's a mobile guy. He runs around a lot. That was his thing. But then they actually told him, we want you to be a pocket passer. We want you to learn more of that side of the game. So they told him in the spring, don't run around. Stay in the pocket. They literally said, do not run.
Okay.
And last week, he came out and he, whenever he had a chance to scramble, he looked like shit because it's almost like he was told not to do that. He's, not back to his, normal game yet. He looked rusty. Syracuse beat up on him. It was 31-7, I think.
Let's go upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Woo!
What's the best? Dinosaur barbecue?
Yeah.
Syracuse? What else is Syracuse known for?
That's it.
Right. Dinosaur barbecue. You know what it is? It's mediocre barbecue. That's what it is.
It is. It kind of is mediocre.
No, but FSU has a solid run game, and Louisville just hasn't been able to stop the run. So we're taking FSU minus 2.5 points, even though it's on the road at Louisville. Look, shout out to the Panhandle, Ryan O'Hara. He loves it. He's a big FSU guy. He's all about him. So this is gonna be. I'm gonna blame him, even though I just asked him, "Hey, you cool? I think FSU is gonna cover." He's like, "Yes," and I knew he was gonna say yes. I wanted the validation, so I asked him. And you're on the hook for this one if it loses.
He also thinks that seagulls are pelicans.
Pelicans. When you grow up in Florida and you go up to the Northeast.
And you see a bird by the water, you call it a pelican. Apparently.
Pelican.
We all know what seagulls are. Come on.
Ridiculous. All right, so look, this is what just happened. So we're recording this right after this game.
Yeah. Boo.
Boo. I mean, it was a great game.
It was a good game. I really wanted to take the Chiefs, honestly, but I hate the Chiefs. I hate Mahomes. I hate the Chiefs. Everybody knows, if you pay attention to the Bills, why I hate them. So I'm like, let's go over because they're supposed to be both fighting for this win, which they did.
Division game.
Yeah, but the over was just a little too high today, and it didn't cut it.
There was a couple situations where there was punts and things.
Well, in the beginning, nobody scored
yeah.
anything, so that was like right away you knew, this isn't gonna work. Thank God at the end it got a little more fun, where it's like, oh, there's a shot.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, it was just like, well, this is not gonna cut it because the Chiefs should have just went right into it and scored a touchdown, and then that would have probably helped us. But anyway.
Look, if you bet the Chiefs and this line moved to 4, so when we were watching the game, the line was at 4, so it was 3.5 here. If that last touchdown that the Chargers had, if you were betting the Chiefs, you'd be so pissed at this.
Right.
This is a minute left in the game, and it's a backdoor cover completely. If you're
pretty
betting
much,
on the Chargers,
yeah. The only people that won were Chiefs money line and the under by like a little bit. So
yeah, there was 51. I think it came out to.
that was
We were
okay.
as a bettor, we were rooting for overtime. We're
Right.
like, if
Let's go overtime.
Tie it up. Go to overtime. Shout out to Johnny Newberg. He knows about overtime. You got to go for the overtime one if you want to try to get that bet that you were trying to place. So, didn't work.
Right. So the
This
rest
game-
of the weekend, though, Jesus.
Yeah, all right, that happened already. Now this is going forward. This game, man.
Let's go the under. No scoring. I'm suggesting that we put our money on the Browns for our survival pool because I'm pretty sure the Browns are going to win, but we can't really go against the Jets. But maybe for the survivor pool, we can do that because Josh will let that one slide. Not going to be a winner here with the Jets at all.
Well, I'll tell you what the Browns did last week. I was talking a lot of shit about Jacoby Brissett, right? And I was saying, hell, the Browns have this guy. He's not that good. But, like, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, both of those guys ran all over.
They ran their asses off.
200-something yards last week. And the Jets gave up 5 yards a carry against the Ravens, and the Ravens could, didn't do a ton of offense. They were winning. We would control the game the whole time. So it's like if you pair these two up, where the Jets are letting up 5 yards a carry, and the Browns are really good at running the ball, you don't need Jacoby Brissett to do anything. So I feel like, this has got to be one where I think it's the under. The line moved recently to 39.5. I still like the under, but I'm waiting for it to see what happens as we go closer to the game. If it hopefully hits the 40, then I'm definitely going to be taking the under for this game. It sounds crazy. It's probably one of the lowest unders of the week and of the season. But look at it. What are the Jets going to do? They look like shit. Their line sucked last week.
Yeah. I mean, we all want the Jets to do better. Like they're not a problem for any of us in this division. So we'd like you guys to do a little bit better than you are because I feel bad. Like you're still like a fan and you still want to see something and it's just like so sad. But again, ladies, this is one of those things. If you take the under, you're cheering for nothing to happen. Woo! Not fun. So just stay away from this game,
Long
people.
punts.
Yeah, we stay away from the under. If, in my opinion, if it's not going to be the over, which it won't be in this case, just don't bet it.
The Jets threw the ball 59 times last week out of 79 plays. I mean, that last game was a pretty bad called game, I think. I mean, you have Joe Flacco. You have a bunch of running backs. Talk about Breece Hall feeding the ball. Anybody who's fantasy was saying that Breece Hall was going to have a bunch of yards. And you throw the ball that many times. Peyton Manning when they do the, whatever the fuck that is.
Eli and Peyton.
Eli and Peyton, terrible broadcast on ESPN too. He was like, Peyton comes right out, shots fired, going, hey, you know what you don't do? You don't throw the ball 59 times and expect to win the game. And then Eli goes, will you back up quarterback too? And he's like, yeah, you will never win the game. So this is the type of shit I'm dealing with. So welcome to my world. But I'm taking the under on this one just because the Jets are inept. And also the Browns have a good run game.
All right, so this one with the Lions, like this is not like I told you so last week, and so I think they're gonna win again. No, it's the Lions versus the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders are on the kind of same level as the Jets. The Lions,
Well, no, they won.
right, but they're not that great. The Lions lost last weekend after a long, hard fight, and I think they're gonna take this one over. It's not a huge spread, but I'm going money line on it just because if something weird happens and they could still win. So that's just what I'm saying. Go on Lions. If it doesn't work out, then I'll learn my lesson. But right now, I'm taking the Lions. Josh is also. Why are you taking them?
Well, I'm not betting it, but I like the Lions too. Swift, the running back for the Lions, he injured his quad in the second quarter of last game. He actually had a nice second half, but people were worried after the game that he wasn't feeling that good. He just tweeted, I think it was today, saying,
Yeah,
I'm playing the game. I'm playing on Sunday. So that's a good thing. He averaged 9.6 yards a carry. Okay. I mean, they couldn't. So, like, if you think about that side, the Lions averaging those high numbers. Then you had the other side where Commanders, they couldn't run the ball against Jacksonville. Wentz threw a couple interceptions. There was a couple turnovers, and they still won the game. It's a weird little toss-up thing there, but I think that the Lions have a little bit of momentum coming out of the back of that Eagles game saying, look, we're legit now.
Right. That was my point.
Yeah.
The Commanders won against the Jaguars. Again, not a big
I forget what the stat was, but they said something like the Lions are favored for the first time in, like, a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Whatever. Dan Campbell, let's go.
Yeah.
Pull out a win. Money line, that's what I'm taking. I wouldn't touch the over, but with 10
And
football.
you were worrying about, and she was saying, should we do, she wanted to do the money line.
Spread over
versus
the money line. But now, after thinking about it, there's room for error, and I could still win my money, so go on money line.
Yeah, it's like out of a bunch of the games last week, there were probably a handful, maybe 3 games or so, that were within 1 or 2 points. Mm-hmm. So if you hit one of those 1 or 2 points, you don't get it, but the money line's going to get you the money. So instead of paying minus 110, do the minus 135. And I feel like that's probably where for us, you get a little more value that way.
I just need to say, as a little person with a little head, they do not make headphones that fit us, just so you know. They're barely fitting my head. They do not adjust. This is terrible.
Put in a service request to Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Does that still exist, Radio Shack?
No, I don't think that's definitely gone.
No,
But yeah, shout out to the good old days of Radio Shack.
Geek Squad. All right.
Never bet against Tom Brady. Keith, you're right. Don't do it. I mean, I thought maybe he had, I'm 45. I got a lot of shit going on. I thought I could maybe win on that one last weekend. No, he's fine. I mean, they didn't look great. They're all banged up. Also, the Cowboys were terrible. But, again, it's that same freaking thing that always happens. I bet against Brady. I don't win. I'm not, I would take the Bucs against the Saints. They also struggled a little bit. And
they barely pulled out a win. So they were down into the fourth quarter. Jameis Winston brought them back to win by 1 point. It was a great game. The last season, or the last couple games that the Bucs have played the Saints have had Brady's number. And they actually have, I think the last 3 games, the Saints have beat them. And the last time they played, it was a 9-0 game where he got shut out for like the first time in a long time. But I don't put a lot of stock in that old game bullshit. Like, this is...
Well, if you notice, we're not actually betting on this. This is one, like, we would take the Bucs, but we have no real faith in this. If you were thinking about it, maybe go Bucs, but we're not even touching it with our money. So
and we put that down here before. We were talking about this before we went live here. Is that like the Bucs' recent injury list was like everybody was on.
Oh yeah, now they're way more on there.
Brady's on it. You have Godwin, Mike Evans, Cage. The list goes up. All the wide receivers are banged up. So as much as they'll play, you got to wonder about how many times where if the whole team's not practicing and you're going to go into a game, how's it going to look? And you're at the Saints, you're at home.
I mean, maybe the under is better. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. I would just stay away from it technically. You know, just maybe skip that one.
After the injury report, I wanted to go Saints, but then again, we just got fucked. I was like, don't bet against Tom Brady. So I'm like, I'm staying away.
Just stay away. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So.
What happened to the Baker revenge game, by the way? It didn't happen.
No. So that's one of the reasons why I'm taking Giants money line. Second reason is Giants, you got Dable. You're welcome. He is fantastic. Clearly, you guys pulled out a win for the first time in a long time with him for the first game. I'm going Giants all day, money line. I put a ton of money on this one. Let's go Giants on this game. Baker was rooting for you last weekend, but it didn't turn out that well. Not just a lot of mistakes, silly mistakes, and the Giants, because you have Dable, he's just making great, interesting plays, and you're just able to pull out some good runs and some good wins. So I'm gonna go Giants on this one.
And I love that call at the end of the game last week. You could tie it up, and 9 times out of 10, a coach is going to go and tie it up. And he says, "No, we're going for 2." And Dable says, "Let's go do it."
Right.
And they pitch it. They give it to Saquon, and it looked like he wasn't going to get it. He gets it, and I forget. Usually this seems like a New York Post headline, but it might have been like a New York Daily News or whatever. But it says Dayball, like Dable, Dayballs of steel, because he had the balls to fucking go for it, and I love that shit. And
Any excuse to put balls on a
balls.
headline.
Got to put balls in a headline. And look, Baker. He was saying everybody made it out to see him in the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl's in February, and the way he was talking after the game in press conference, I was like, why the fuck did I bet this guy?
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Let's go Giants money
But
line.
I'm staying away, but I get it. This one's a little bit.
I feel like this is an even playing field. Trubisky,
He was fine.
he did what
Good
I thought he
enough.
would do. Like, he learned a lot being at the Bills last year. He's no Ben Roethlisberger, but yeah, he didn't do terrible, so that was good. Mac Jones, though, back spasms, whatever, and Belichick. Oh, I cannot say this enough. Seeing you get angry at the end of the game because you lost. Oh, yes, thank you for that.
As an AFC East team, you're like, oh, I love it.
I love.
Squirm.
Well, also Belichick getting angry. He's always like, I'm always winning. Now he's like, crap. What do I have going? I don't have a. So far, I'm not doing that well. So.
But T.J. Watt is out.
Hurt, yeah.
So he's hurt, and that was like a thing where they weren't sure how many weeks it is, and it was going back and forth. Initially, it was like he might be out for the season.
Right,
It was
but
a
he's
pec
at least
tear.
out for this weekend. So.
Yeah, he's out for this weekend, and I think it's going to be several other weeks, maybe like 6 to 8 weeks at this point. So I just think that this is going to be like a tough game where there's not going to be a lot of points probably scored. So you're on that.
I would bet the under, but again, my motto is life's too short to bet the under. It's boring. So I didn't bet it, but if I were you, if you don't mind it, I would bet the under on this one. I don't think a lot's going to happen. He took the Steelers to win, to cover by the +1.5. So.
Yeah, I just think that
Again, neither of us have money on it, though.
yeah.
So that's how.
The Steelers' offense, like as much as Trubisky was fine, they just didn't put up a ton of offense last week. So I'm just wondering whether or not like they have enough. But the Pats turn the ball over. Is that going to be something that stays consistent? Is Mac Jones? Not only did he have the back spasms,
Yeah.
he actually didn't practice today because he was sick.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So again, I think honestly, I would put my money on the under if it wasn't so boring. So maybe think about that. Ooh, okay. Colts. Big fan of the Colts. -4. It's a tight spread, but Jaguars, they really didn't show any improvement from last season to last weekend. They look like the same old Jaguars. The Colts, they had a strong game last weekend with a tie. They fought it out, and then we ended up having a tie already in week 1.
And their kicker, the guy with the glasses, Blankenship, he missed a field goal to win it.
Right.
And they got cut after. They cut him. They're like
That poor
I'm doing
guy
it.
with his glasses, man.
Yeah, Rodrigo, his name is not Lions Rodrigo, but his name is Rodrigo Blankenship, but he got cut.
So I took the Colts. I put my money on them.
They put a lot of offense up last week.
Yeah.
500 yards of total offense. Now it did go to overtime to get a little bit of bump in total yards, but it was a pretty good showing.
It was a good showing, and then you're playing against the Jaguars, and you only have -4. That's why I put a decent chunk on the Colts to win, cover the spread.
All right, so Dolphins Ravens. So the Jets just play the Ravens. I know what the Ravens are about. Lamar's still there. They're still good. They're pretty solid. There was never a question in the game, although within the first half it was maybe a 1-score game for the Jets, so it was kind of close for a little bit. After that, it was just immediately over. But the Dolphins, they look pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, so at this point, I'm not going to be putting my money on the Dolphins to win for a while because they are my competition, and that's going to suck. So I'm going to probably stay away from a lot of this stuff unless it's the over or the under with the Dolphins, because now I'm not scared, but I don't want to support them doing well. But Yeah, shout out to Moose. Your team doesn't look too bad, man.
Yeah, and you got look, Tyreek and Waddle are good. If you can just get the ball out of Tua's hands and just get it to them, like they can do some interesting things. Mike McDaniel's been doing some interesting things so far. And like I said before, how many games till the league catches up? This is what they're doing, and shut it down and make Tua throw long. Do those things, bring the guys in the box and basically shut the run down and make them, throw deep. I think that will happen, but not yet. So,
I would take the over.
Yeah.
I also, I'm poor, so I couldn't bet everything I wanted to bet. So this one I stayed off of, but I would take the over on this one because they both have a lot to fight for. Josh here would take the Ravens to cover the spread. So there's that.
They're at home, It's like one of those things where Lamar at home, why not? Okay.
Obviously, we saw that the Rams are pretty good. I mean, the Bills crushed you guys, sorry. But you're still pretty good.
Yeah, Christine's like, I know the Bills beat you by 21 points. But actually, you're probably one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. So the rest of the season should be pretty easy for us.
No brainer.
But
like, the Falcons didn't look that bad. Mariota was pretty good. He was solid. He wasn't like he had like a 50-something quarterback rating, threw for 200 yards, but he scrambles a little bit, and the spread is really high. That's why we're not betting it. We're leaning that way to the Rams. Like we think they could still cover that one, but like.
But is it gonna be one of those things where we're winning by a score?
Yeah.
We're not. Good teams win. Great teams cover. They may not try to cover.
Or it's like one of those things where they're up by 17. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, nobody gives a shit, and the Falcons score something.
Right.
And go, wait, what happened? Oh no, they only won by 10. You're like, wait, they dominated the whole game.
And they kneel, take a knee, and so forget it. I don't know. That's too high.
Too high.
All right, this is my lock of the week, and I addressed this before. I mean, this spread keeps moving up and down, up and down. It was at 10 at one point, and again, if these apps would freaking work in Vegas, I would have had the Seahawks at plus 10. Living on cloud 9 right now, but instead I had to get it at plus
8.5.
9? I think I got it at 9. To be honest with you, possibly 8.5. I kind of don't remember, which is just this is all crap. I wanted it at plus 10 would have been fantastic, but quickly what I said before, watching against the Broncos, Geno Smith. I think you're a piece of shit as a person, but you did really well last game. You have a lot to prove still, so you better show up this week and do the same thing. And then I think he's going to tank after that. But I'm going to take him to at least cover this spread. Not to win necessarily, but cover the spread against the 49ers. Prove me right, man. And then go ahead and tank like you usually do. That's my thinking.
So, look, he was a quarterback for the Jets for a long time ago. Very long time ago. But since then...
Until he got punched in the face by his own teammate.
So he had and I used to think he had the right fundamentals and stuff, but, like, he needed to work. Mm-hmm. Since then, no, he's played for the last 8 years behind Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Russell Wilson, all pretty much probably going to be Hall of Fame guys. If you don't think that he's learning a little bit from all those guys... Like, there's not a lot of people that are backups in the league for 10 years that get to be behind, like, legit quarterbacks for so many different situations. So you got to imagine, and it looked like it, that he took away something from that. He looked pretty freaking sharp, especially the first half. He came out hot. I mean...
Right. And I'd be the first to want to talk so much shit about him because I don't like his, personality, whatever, blah, blah. But I want to make money. That's why this is my lock of the week. Let's go, Geno. This weekend, you go Geno. After that, I think I'm going to lay off the man because I don't trust him.
And we don't know what, like, San Francisco, that whole Bears,
they're iffy.
San Francisco game, you can't even take anything away from it because it was just a shit show with the weather. They're sliding around everywhere. There was a few throws that Trey Lance made that were pretty nice. I was like, okay, maybe. I just don't understand this many points.
That's why I'm like, I feel like it's a freebie with the plus. Yeah. Well, I mean, man, if I could have got that plus 10, man.
Plus 10 would
have been so annoying that we can't get these apps in Vegas. We're like right here, and it still doesn't work. But anyway, all right, so that's my lock of the week.
Lock of the week. I get it. Okay, so This is my lock of the week, and this is Christine's also betting this one.
Yeah, not my
And
lock, but this is like.
She's
I mean, if I could have 2 locks, this would definitely be a lock also because this is ridiculous. The Cowboys. Sorry, Rick, but the Cowboys suck.
We were just at Cosmopolitan Resort and Casino at a place called Click. If you haven't been there, check it out. It's actually a really cool spot where there's no like cover or anything like that.
No, it's
they
like a
play
nice
music
lounge.
at night, but also during the day they have they'll play the games and stuff like that.
We met Flavor Flav there.
We did meet Flavor Flav there.
Flavor Flav.
Yep. And so we were over there, and this guy says, "Hey, what do you think about this game?" We were watching the Chargers game, Chiefs game, and he said, "Who's your lock of the week?" I don't know why he asked me that, but he must have sensed that we are the type of people that are now. I wasn't wearing any weird shit that says a Degenerate Gambler on it. I was wearing a nice, something with palm trees on it, like a tourist
Yes.
would wear,
Yeah, he looked like a tourist for sure.
And I said Bengals -7.5. He goes, "You from Cincinnati?" I'm like, "No, but I like this game because Dak's out. Cooper Rush is the quarterback for the Bengals. Sorry, for Dallas, and Burrow just had a shit game. Okay, he threw for 4 picks.
The man was in the Super Bowl last year. Like, get it together.
The Bengals are good. If you think that that's going to continue, and they also were in it, and they were up to the very end within a couple points. They just barely lost while throwing 4 picks. The turnover game is such a big thing in the league. They're not going to get that the same. They're not going to do the same thing. I feel like they'll clean that shit up. I know they're going to Dallas, but without Dak there, I feel like this is a Bengals win, and I feel like it's probably like by like 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, that spread is very low. If you can get that, lock it in. That's a good spread.
And even
For the Bengals, yeah.
Here's another thing for all you gamblers out there. It's 7.5. If you can buy the half point down to 7, that's a big deal because that'll give you the right to push at 7, just in case it goes down to that.
And a push is a win, people.
And that'll probably be, instead of -110, it'll probably be about like 125, 130. So that might be something to look at if you're doing it. But this is, to us, a no-brainer. No Dak. Burrow's going to snap back. Texans, Broncos. So
Boring.
So, yeah, I mean, the Texans were fine. They tied.
Yeah.
Davis Mills, they were fine. They tied.
Not a lot of fun things going on.
No. But the Broncos, 10 points is a lot. I know the Broncos are at home now, so that's their home opener with Russell Wilson.
He's got to do better, so
Yeah.
he's got something to fight for, that's for sure. But
I do agree. I was kind of leaning on the under on this one, just because of how the Broncos' offense didn't look that well.
no.
So I was thinking maybe, if we can get the under on the 45, because I don't know how good the Texans are going to do either. And Christine was thinking maybe we lean towards the Broncos, just
Because I think
Something
listen,
to prove.
again, I have no money on it because, again, I'm poor and I need to pick a few games. This was not one of them, but I think he's got to do better. So this is going to be his game to prove that he's not the crap that we saw last weekend.
Yep. And next one. Cardinals, Raiders.
Again,
So
not the best. Boring. You got 2 losing teams going at it.
the Raiders barely lost to Chargers. The Chargers are pretty good.
They didn't cover the over though. Those
They
2.
didn't cover it. But there was 3 interceptions that they threw.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of turnovers, and you can't really win by turning the ball over, 3 times, unless the other team turns the ball over.
Unless you're the Buffalo Bills, because apparently you can do that and crush it.
I think I guess they had.
They
3
had
turnovers,
3, yeah.
2 interceptions and 1 fumble, but they also took the ball away maybe twice. So it's really, you're trying to win the net turnover battle, and this was a lopsided one last week. Cardinals defense looked bad, so
Yes.
that's got to be favorable for
The Raiders,
the
yes.
Raiders.
And we want the Raiders to win. Come on, we're here. Let's go, Raiders.
They're home. They're home here.
We can see your stadium from our apartment. Let's go. Do well. That's why I think our money would be on the Raiders. It's just, as of last weekend, it just was not that exciting.
And it's 6 points is a decent amount. So it wasn't something that jumped out off the page to say, hey,
Yeah.
bet this game. This game, Bears, Packers.
Yeah.
I think there's something to do here. Again, we talked about the Bears versus the 49ers. It was a little bit tough because, the weather was weird. But
But also, let's go back to.
This is fucked up. This is 1-0. I fucked this up. No, this is 1-0.
Well, that's 1-0. Okay, so that's screwed up.
Yeah.
But the Packers, terrible. But now, if you know anything about Aaron Rodgers, this ain't going to happen again. So that's why I'm going on the over, because I think these two are going to battle it out. Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove. He's taking the Packers, and I assume for the same reason, because this clown needs to make up what he lost last weekend.
So, Aaron Rodgers, if you look at like his stats at home after a loss, I mean, you can't bet. You can't bet against him. 10 points is a lot, so that's always a weird thing. Should we, but
with the spread, that leads me to believe that the 42.5 is a good over, because like today we bet 54.5, and they just barely made it, and they were not two teams like fighting to battle for somebody to pay attention to us again. We don't look like crap. This for sure. I bet you I think the over is going to get it. But also at the same time, Packers definitely have to win. He's got to pull out a win on this one.
Yeah.
-10 is going to be a little rough, but I don't know.
I feel like it's a 31-14 type game, where
Hopefully.
the Packers,
Let's go with that.
No, exactly.
Well, yeah, that'd be good.
Uh-oh. Wait, the Bills play this week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is Monday night.
This is what happens when you're a really good team. You go on all the freaking primetime fucking games. This is awful. Like, I want to watch my Bills on a Sunday. When is that going to happen? So we had a Thursday night, which, all right, that was fucking awesome. We got to open up, the NFL season. But then Sunday came around. I'm just watching everybody else's games. Now, again, Sunday's going to pass us by, and Monday is our game. And they have 2 Monday night games. This is so the NFL. What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing.
And being out on the West Coast, so there's 2 Monday night games. This is actually a 7:15 game, which is really a 4 o'clock or 4:15 game.
The sun will be out while we're watching it, which is kind of nice. But
it's pretty nice.
But come on, I'm waiting for my Sunday Bills game. But anyways, obviously, the Bills are going to crush it. I am nervous. You know how, as a Bills fan, my Mafia members here, Derrick Henry scares the shit out of us. Although the Titans looked terrible. I shouldn't say terrible, but they didn't look good this weekend. So we're definitely going to win. I'm pretty sure we're going to cover that -10. But I still have a little PTSD from last year where that stupid Derrick Henry was just everywhere.
How about him? The picture's worth 1,000 words. Derrick Henry gets walloped.
Oh, yes. That was fantastic.
He left his feet for some reason, and then just gets smacked on the Giant, and boom, they blew him up. I haven't seen Derrick Henry get hit like that in a while, and it was great because it was all over.
That was fantastic. That was cool. So hopefully he ate a little bit of humble pie, and he won't be a problem for us. But what is this? 0-1. What's happening with your scores here?
I goofed on this one. Yeah, this is obviously 1-0. Yeah. Look, you can't win them all.
Actually, we did. We're undefeated as of right now.
This is 1-0. Yeah. We'll fix that in post-production. No, we're not gonna. But this is definitely 0-1. Yeah. And look, the Bills whooped up on the Super Bowl championship team.
Right.
And
we're definitely gonna win.
I think the Rams are good, and the spread is high with 10. I'm actually looking. So it says -10 here. My real bet, and what I'm doing here, is I'm going to bet the first half, and I already put a little bit on it. So first half -6.5 is the spread. The Bills going to be up by a touchdown at the half, and then we'll see. So if they're up by more or less, I'm going to basically adjust and do a second half bet. Most of the bets we've done in the last couple of years, probably in the last 8 years, are really first half bets. Check the momentum, see what's going on in the game,
I like that.
and then double in the second half or figure out what you do in the second half. That's really the main strategy, and it feels weird to do this podcast and talk about what the games we're going to pick, because the reality is we always like to feel out a game and feel how it goes. But for this one particularly, because it's such a high spread, I'd rather bet the Bills -6.5 for the first half here, and then see how it's going. Right, and look, if you bet enough on them, and they're up by 10, maybe just hold off for the second half. You're good, right?
Right. Either way, the Bills are going to win, and I don't bet on the Bills, but let's go Buffalo.
Winner, Chicken dinner.
Sheen dinner.
Sheen dinner. Okay.
Okay, last and final game of the week.
Final game.
Monday night number 2 game.
So what time is this one on? So the first one's 7:15.
It's like a half hour later. It's
Or
kind of weird.
8.
Or it's in the middle of the Bills game. So I don't know. Just watch a Bills game.
Yeah.
Who cares about this?
So Vikings looked solid. Again, this is messed up. That's a 1-0.
Oh my goodness.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
But then the Eagles. That's also a 1-0. Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
2 undefeated teams with the wrong
Okay.
record on the screen.
Yeah,
But
Jesus.
I think that the Vikings here on the road, we're against each other here. How we're feeling? It's close. Look, this is a 2-point spread.
Right,
I think
yeah.
this is going to be a close game.
You're just kind of picking it at this point.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins look good. The Vikings look really solid. But then again, the Eagles
The
put
Eagles
up
look
38
good, yeah.
points. They put up 38
Yeah.
points.
If you notice, though, we didn't put any money on these
No.
games. We're just telling you what we think.
Yeah.
So maybe this is one you stay away from. Or if you're a big Vikings fan, go Vikings. If you're a big Eagles fan, go Eagles. Because these look like 2 good teams. But you're not going to be watching this game. You're going to be watching the Bills game. And then you're going to catch the tail end of this. So maybe you wait till the, second half.
After you win the Bills' first half
Right.
bet, you're going to be like, maybe we're going to hold off. I'm going to go to this
gonna
game.
switch that game,
I'll
yeah.
switch it. And
And
I'm going to bet on
pick
this
one.
one. Yeah. So who are we betting? This is the chance to screenshot this. And then you could be like,
'cause we're so
you
fantastic at
guys
this."
won me so much money. How do I Venmo you? And I'm like, no, you don't have to Venmo us. We take PayPal and Cash App and Zelle. But look, this is where we're at. We told you all the ones. So we got, we're at BYU, FSU,
Loss.
Chargers Chiefs game. That was a loss. It probably would have been a net 0 for that game if those apps would have been working.
Right, but
We
the
could
apps
bet
don't
the-
work here.
Which is annoying. We would have had Herbert over the 299.5 yards. We would have had
Chargers be the first to score
first
in the
score in the
third
third
quarter.
quarter. They were getting the ball. They had
Right.
momentum.
But again, we're in Vegas, and we can't actually bet when we want to bet. It's mind-boggling.
So after that, you start getting into the NFL. Jets Browns. I think I'm going with the under.
Or you just bet the Browns. You'll win money there, too, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're probably going to take Browns in a survivor pool just
Yeah.
because I feel like it's, you take, if
Easy
you're in a
one.
survivor pool, anybody's in one, you have these spreads that are 10 points and stuff. You can go with those teams, but then everybody else is going with you. Just take a team that's got a decent, good chance to win with a 6-7 point spread, and then let everybody else, maybe there's going to be an upset, and then everybody else will lose the money.
I'm taking Giants money line, Colts -4 versus the Jaguars, and then you guys know my lock of the week is the Seahawks plus. It was 9.5. I believe we either got it at 9 or 8.5, but I still feel it. Ooh, let's go. Hopefully,
And my lock of the week is the Bengals.
I'm also taking that one. But
I'm at
it's not my
7.5. Now, I might try to buy a half a point down to get them at 7. So, that might be, I might do half at 7.5 and then half of it at 7, but that's still going to be my lock of the week. I think that's probably going to be a, 10 plus point winner.
He's taking the Packers at -10, but I'm taking the over at 43. So we're both still rooting for the same thing. And then, of course, Josh is taking the Bills -10, but I am never bet the Bills, so I will not be betting that. They're just going to crush it.
If she didn't want to jinx anything,
Yes, I'm
she
betting.
would bet like, hey, here's my car for the Bills.
Right.
Like she would
Would you like to take my Corvette because the Bills are going to win, and I'd like
Just
2 of them?
take
Thanks.
it. Yes.
I'd like 2
so
Corvettes.
that'd
We're
be
done
pretty
with
good.
this.
So anyway, look, that's where we're at.
All right.
I think it's. I'm hoping this is going to be a better weekend, especially for you guys, because like the first weekend,
please.
it's tough. There's not a lot you can go off of. Now we're understanding offensive, defensive matchups, injuries. You take into consideration weather, this and that. So hopefully this is going to be a better week. We want to make money.
Right.
Worst case scenario, we hit the tables at the end and we make
Yeah.
up for it like last week. But hopefully that's not going to be something that we have to do every single week. So, hey, we appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you watched till the end. If you
Yes.
did, subscribe,
Come on, please.
all the platforms.
We
do
want to
that
know
thing.
who's watching.
But we love you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Let's kick it off. Let's go.
All right. Good luck this weekend.
Bye, guys.
Couple of betters.
It's done. Oh,
Couple of betters.
I want to make money. Couple of bettors.
Couple of Bettors.